Raymond out your way, intense lightning and strong winds. This is not only a severe thunderstorm warning, but a severe thunderstorm warning which is kind of upgraded to winds of up to 80 miles per hour. And they will be primarily crossing especially the southern parts of the metro here over the next 15 to 30 minutes. And it's coming into the west side of town right now. Let me show you Storm Shield 16 3D. And this is the enhancement right down in this area. It's just to the west of Byram and Terry. This is where there's some very intense wind, and this storm is in the intensifying stages. We're not seeing any rotation. It's very linear. When we look at the wind field here, we don't see rotation, but there is significant wind associated with this cell, and it is moving to the east-northeast at about 40 to 45 miles per hour. Further to the north, up towards Clinton and into southern Madison County, very heavy rain, and there may be some gusty winds, but the rain's probably going to temper the winds that have been gusty all day. The most intense part of this cell is down here, just to the south of Clinton, coming into the Forest Hill area, just to the west of Byram and Terry, out towards Highway 18, like you're going out to Holmes Community College. Some very intense rain and wind, and it is possible with this cell that it could spit out some small hail. Now, further to the north along this line, here again, looking very linear, straight. This is why we have all straight line winds, but this is a line of storms which is currently in the process of intensifying. So as we head through the next hour and this storm passes to the east of Jackson, East Mississippi could see some really significant winds associated with that. We'll watch for the bumps and squiggles, but it's been looking very linear as it came into Mississippi over the last hour. All right, let's go back over to the maps now, and there you can see the squall line moving very quickly across the area. Earlier storms that formed ahead of the line were moving to the northeast, and you can see we have a cell down here towards Puckett and coming out of Mendenhall in northeast Simpson County. That's moving to the northeast. This line is accelerating to the east very quickly, and it's going to race across the viewing area. It had been moving at about 30 to 35 miles per hour. It's up to about 40 to 45 miles per hour to the east, and I expect it to continue to accelerate. And by the time it gets out here towards Carthage, Morton, and Forest, it could be moving eastward at about 60 miles per hour, and that will help accentuate the wind problem with this cell. So right now, crossing the Jackson metro area, an intense thunderstorm with strong and gusty winds associated with that, and we'll be on the lookout for some any kind of spin. We're not seeing that right now. Further to the south, Crystal Springs, Hazelhurst, Wesson, Brookhaven, this line is approaching you, and we do have severe thunderstorm warnings into these areas for strong straight line winds with those cells as they move through. Here's the big picture. If you're in Vicksburg and if you're in Natchez, the threat of severe weather has passed and the temperature will begin to fall. Ahead of the rain, we are in the 70s. Behind the rain, temperatures are in the 60s. So an intense line of storms continues to move across the area. There it is across our southern counties, and then right up into the Jackson metro area. Intense wind and rain. We have severe thunderstorm warnings in effect, and we will bring you frequent updates through the course of the news. Going to throw it over to my friend Scott Simmons now at the anchor desk. All right, right back on, because that area that I was talking about, the Weather Service has issued a tornado warning, in particular area just to the east of Raymond in the vicinity of Forest Hill and Sywell. This could put out a quick spin-up tornado in the line. Now, keep in mind, there is widespread wind along this line right here, stretching from southwest Jackson, Forest Hill, Sywell community, and then down to the west of Byram. So if you're in Terry and Byram right now, this line is coming your way, and certainly expect a lot of wind with that. And when we look over here, there could be a spin up in this area coming into the Forest Hill, Sywell Road communities. All right, let's go over to the maps again now here. And this is what we're looking at. Severe thunderstorm warning with a tornado warning right smack dab in the middle of it. We have a severe thunderstorm, which has intense wind associated with it. And along this line, there could be a quick spin-up tornado. Certainly be prepared for very strong winds to really impact a large part of the area. Let's get in here and investigate the storm right away. Look at our severe weather button and see if we're picking up any strong winds right now. Still not picking up any strong winds associated with that, at least not in excess of 70 miles per hour right now. We're seeing some of those stronger winds up at cloud level, and they certainly could reach the ground in a short period of time. All right, let's take a look at shear, looking for spin, just a little bit of it there, not too much. Go back to our velocity and see in here just not really seeing a whole lot of rotation in there. I do see a lot of strong wind associated with it, and it's coming over the TV station right now. Forest Hill, Sywell, Brookley community, Byram, and now to the east of Midway. Keep in mind, this is moving very quickly, close to 50 miles per hour off to the northeast. So over here, upwind for Rankin County, tornado warning into the northern parts of county. I'm going to come back on. Let's start. Katie has a timeline on who's going to get hit when, and then I'll come back on with more on that. Katie, to you on that timeline.
All right, here's what we're looking at right now. So we're seeing that worst of the weather moving in here across the metro. We're hearing that rain, but for those up into Issaquena, Sharkey County, you're pretty much over with that severe threat. So like I said, that rain is moving right through the metro right now.
Let's have you get a timeline on the thunderstorm up on the radar for folks. Let's come back to me over here on, she'll let her get up at that. I thought we were gonna have that. We're gonna get the timeline for communities upwind of this storm. Keep in mind, moving quickly to the east, northeast at 50 miles per hour, and it is in far eastern sections of Hinds County right now. So it's going to be coming across the stack, southern parts of downtown. I can hear the pounding rain outside, and then moving into Pearl, Flowood, and the Brandon communities very shortly. And let's go back to Katie. She's got that timeline up now.
All right, so looking at that tornado warning that we have issued, it is moving fairly quickly here across the metro. If you live in Byram, Elton, Nogan, that's right over you right now. You're probably hearing that rain. You're probably seeing those lightning flashes out right now. Nogan, Lake Hiko right now, and then going into Fair Street District, Jackson, Norwood within the next 1 minute, Baptist, Veterans Memorial Stadium within the next 2 minutes, Belhaven University if you're in that area, as well as Fondren within the next 2 minutes. So these are moving fairly quickly. It's moving right through parts of the metro. Heavy rain is on the way. We're hearing it here at the metro, and I'll get another look out for more communities. So I'm going to do this one more time, but heavy rain and lightning. We're hearing the thunder over here. We'll get another view at those, but a lot of these areas still experiencing that rain. Tougaloo, Flowood, Pearl within the next few minutes, Richland High School over into Hickory Glen within the next 1 minute. So let's toss it over back to David and we'll have another view on that tornado.
To the east at about, I'm looking hard here at data, and I really see a linear line. I see a lot of straightness here. I'm not seeing much in the way of rotation on radar at this time, and even looking on the northern end of the line into southwest parts of Madison County, just to the west of Madison and Ridgeland. It's already to the east of Highway 49, the severe line. It looks very linear, and when I say linear, I'm talking straight. And I look down here into the far eastern parts of Hinds County. It looks very, very straight. Not seeing any areas of rotation. Doesn't mean something couldn't spin up with it, but the way we see it right now, along this leading edge of rain, which is already approaching I-55 from Byram to Terry, downtown Jackson, it's going to be over in Pearl, Richland, and Flowood in the next 5 minutes. You should expect intense wind gusts, intense lightning strikes, and probably about a 10-minute period of torrential rain. So certainly does look like we have a lot of high winds in this area, but not seeing a lot of rotation at this time. But it is still packing a punch with a lot of wind. All right, let's go back over to my maps And look at that, Alta Woods. A lot of strong winds I'm picking up there. You can see the red color. Let me just do a short little time lapse here. A lot of times when we watch the movement, we can sometimes pick something out. And I'm going to get really close since we're coming into the metro area. Looking at these winds, here's Channel 16, Forest Hill, and it's already to our east, the threat of wind, crossing the stack, moving across the Pearl River right now. And I wish I could really definitively say where I see an area of rotation. I just see a large area of potentially damaging winds moving across the area. And of course, with all the dead pine trees that we have here and the heavy rain that we've had, this week we've had 5-6 inches of rain, you know, I just hope we don't have pine trees falling all over the place, causing power outages. And there's always the danger of trees falling on a home as well. Doing the time lapse again up here along the line, I don't see, if you watch me, I call them bumps and squiggles. I see a straight line. Severe thunderstorm warning certainly looks good, but I'm just not seeing much in the way of rotation with this line that is currently moving into the Jackson area. I'll go a little bit wider here so you can see the polygon, and out towards Raymond, the cell is already past you. It's still raining and thunder and lightning, but the wind threat is right here along the Hinds-Rankin County border, which is the Pearl River, currently moving into the west central parts of Rankin County, out towards Pearl and Richland. I can see the reservoir sky cam off screen, and I don't see any big waves or big wind out there right now. So tough situation. We have a tough forecast here with a nasty thunderstorm moving right over the Jackson metro area right now. And big lightning strike outside. I heard it crack. We have this thunderstorm moving across the Jackson area with intense rain, thunder, lightning, and strong and gusty winds. And we're doing our investigation. Now, see right here, that's the shear, and not seeing a whole lot of it right now. I'm seeing little pockets of it, and these are probably areas of very strong winds. Let's go over to velocity here. Again, what I see is a lot of strong straight line winds within this cell. Here's the shear swath, which is over time. Maybe a little bit something there a short time ago, but currently we're up here, so that has already passed. Hey, we'll keep an eye on it, but what you should certainly know is this is a nasty thunderstorm moving across the Jackson metro area, and I can see off in the weather office behind me, the sky cams are flashing like crazy with intense thunder and lightning. Let me move a little bit further to the south here, and you can see there's a little bit of a kink right here in the southwestern parts of Copiah County right now, and then further down here, severe thunderstorm warnings continue out ahead of that line. Now, notice here we have another line which is developed off to the east. So these cells are out in the warm and humid air. Tornado watch is in effect for the next couple of hours for our eastern counties. Nothing rotational there, but certainly keep an eye on that. All right, let's go zoom right back here into the Jackson metro area. Again, what I'm seeing here is straight line winds moving across the Jackson metro area. We do have a tornado warning, but looking at our velocity and our severe weather products, difficult to pick out an identifiable quick spin-up tornado area. It looks like a lot of strong winds, somewhere in the 60 to 80 mile per hour in pockets here, moving across our southern counties in towards Richland, Greenfield, the Monterey community, Sherwood. Hey, this will be moving over towards Cross Gates and Brandon in the next 10 to 15 minutes. Expect strong winds over your way, and also some very intense rain. Look at that line. It stretches right along I-55 now, from just to the north of Hazelhurst, Gallman, Crystal Springs, through Terry, Byram, the Stack, and just through the Eastover subdivision, and then further to the north, a large area of heavy rain moving across the Jackson area. With this type of rain, there could be some quick flash flooding in some areas as the rain comes down in a short period of time. Quick update with Katie. She's got some wind speeds on there because we have good wind coming through right now.
Yeah, like David has mentioned, we are picking up some really strong winds here with that storm that's moving in across the metro. I've picked up some of these winds, and you can see around 30 over 40 just south of the station right now, 50 over in Raymond, just over to the west of Midway, right around 40 over 40, and just to the west of Richland. So strong winds are on the way. This is impacting parts of the metro right now, along with the heavy rain and frequent lightning strikes that we're continuing to see here across the sky cam. But then if we go far south, we're still seeing a lot of that heavy rain moving into Crystal Springs right now. Gallman, Denville, blinding rain over there. Glancy, Brownswell, that rain is going to be moving in within the next couple of minutes. So let's do another wide view. But first, let's take a view at our sky cam right now. Really can't see anything right now because that rain is just washing over our sky cam. You can see the flashes of lightning barely because visibility is reduced. All that rain is just moving in right now. So wide view, the worst of the weather is currently moving in up from Kosciuszko right through the metro into the Jackson area, Crystal Springs. We heard the heavy rain over here. We're seeing the lightning flashes. Then far south down towards to the west of Brookhaven, east of Natchez. That's where that rain is right now. So that rain is continuing to track here and moving in for parts of the metro. I'd say Sequina, Sharkey now free of that severe threat. We'll continue to watch the rain and storms over here, and then big zoom in. Let's toss it back to David and have another update on that warning.
All right, thanks, Katie. I don't have them in my system. Can we do a quick punch up of the downtown Capitol Towers Skycam, give you an idea of how heavy the rainfall is right now? Just give the director a heads up. I'm going to call for a couple Skycams here. Boy, that is some intense rain. It's been flashing lightning like crazy. Of course, when we put it on the air live, it doesn't do it. How about, there's a flash. And let's go to our reservoir Skycam right now. A live look at the reservoir. See, we just had a big flash of lightning. What I'm looking at, though, here is the water, which looks fairly placid. When you get the strong winds, the reservoir is shallow, so the waves can kick up very, very quickly. But here you're seeing the idea of the very intense lightning that is moving through. All right, let's bring up my radar. And ahead of this line, we've had through the day winds of 30 to 40 miles per hour. When Katie was on, I went back, and I was really digging hard into the radar data. I just don't see any rotation. I do see strong straight line winds, and that is a concern. I'm just not seeing any rotation. Here's storm showed 16 3D once again, and we do have a comparison side by side here, and just seeing a very linear component. And again, when I say linear, I'm talking straight line. Don't see that pocket of red and green in a circular fashion, similar to what we saw back on Wednesday evening when we were tracking some severe storms. All right, so nonetheless now, let's give you an update where these strong winds are. They're pretty much out of Hinds County already, and these strong winds are now moving across western parts of Rankin County. Notice the tornado warning did not include Madison and Ridgeland, went across the immediate city of Jackson and then over into Rankin County, which includes Brandon and the reservoir area. This thunderstorm is intensifying, and it certainly could develop some kind of a quick spin-up. I'm just saying, in analyzing the weather data right now, I'm not seeing it. Now, here we just had a new scan, and there is a little bit of a protrusion in the radar image right here, just to the west of Brandon and just to the west of Crossgates. This tells me the wind is accelerating from west to east in this part of the storm, so this would be a pocket where you could see some severe wind coming across Pearl, Highway 80 and Interstate 20 right there, and then eventually it'll make its way over to Brandon. And I have pretty high confidence in that because the storm is intensifying. Further to the south, down towards Florence, again, we're looking at some straight line winds here and some very intense rain. Now look down here. Is that a protrusion which could develop a little bit of rotation? Possibly. It's an area to watch, but when I compare that to the radar over here, I don't see any significant rotation, maybe just a little bit. And let's look here where we have that protrusion and go over here to radar. I do see the winds accelerating here. All right, let's go back over to my weather system here and I'll get a little bit closer. Let me zoom in and line up into that area that we're talking about right now, because this really does show the communities very well. This is the area that I'm talking about from the stack southward, just to the west of Highway 49, Richland, Lakeland Community, Plainville, and then you get down towards Florence. There's some pretty decent wind right in that area. And look at that, this already looks like it's accelerated to the east of there. Again, keep in mind, we're moving at 50 miles per hour, maybe even plus, as this line is not only intensifying, it is picking up forward speed very quickly. So now we're looking at areas from, say, Highway 80, Pearl, over to Brandon, Country Place subdivision south of the airport there, out towards Greenfield, the Whitfield community, and down towards Monterey. Looks like you have some really strong winds coming into your area. This area that I'm watching is down into the southern parts of Rankin County. Now look here, isn't this interesting? Along our line, notice how we've had some shear move along that line. This is certainly an area that possibly there could have been a quick spin-up tornado as this line moved along. Look at that, from right there, and we're seeing some shear into this area. Certainly possible that we're seeing a little bit of a spin up into that area. Now, some of that shear is actually out ahead of that line. Let me do a shear swath, see if that changes a little bit down there. So right ahead of the line, maybe a little bit. You know, nonetheless, what I'm seeing is mostly straight line winds, which could be very strong. They've certainly accelerated. Let's do a quick time lapse, and you'll be able to see what we're talking about. Let me do 15 minutes. Let's change that because it's probably a little bit more significant over a 30-minute time frame. And I'll just go a little bit wider. And this is the area that we're watching down here, which would be the southern part of the tornado warning box. Look at these winds accelerate right in this area across Byram, just to the north of Florence and Monterey. Some really strong winds moving through there. Let's go a little bit further to the north, seeing a little bit of a protrusion here in the winds close to Richland and Lakeland. And already we're on the east side of Highway 49, so it's coming into the Whitfield community right now. And you can see in that radar some strong winds crossing in through the northeast part of Jackson as well. Can we put up the reservoir sky cam again? See if it looks like the waves have picked up some. Just, I know it's hard to see in there if the wind's picking up, but certainly the rain is very intense, a little bit of thunder and lightning. I'm just looking to see if the waves picking up on the radar at this time. It's a little tough to tell because the lightning kind of disrupts the iris of the camera lens, and we got the big rain falling, and it's disturbing the lens. All right, let's go back over to the maps. Keep everybody updated because you can see this wind crossing the area. Let me put up the radar so you can see how quickly this is moving along, and this also will give you an idea of where this intense wind and rain is. Crossing Highway 49 right now from Richland and down towards Florence. They'll be coming into the Monterey and Whitfield communities very, very quickly. Over here off of Highway 18 is Brandon High School, maybe about 15 minutes away from getting to you. Same for Brandon proper. Here's Cross Gates, and then a little bit further to the north here, bring that up. Very heavy rain, intense rain, wind and lightning moving across the northeast part of Jackson into the southeastern parts of Madison County, moving across the reservoir area right down. Look at all those lightning strikes just lighting up the area right now. So boy, a lot going on over there. Got this intense line of storms moving across the area. Again, Katie has an update on wind speeds that she's touching down on our computer over there.
Yeah, it looks like the main impacts for us here in the metro right now looks to be those wind speeds. Again, I picked up over 60 miles per hour just south of Briar Cliff near Byram. Brookley, 50 to 60 miles per hour near the WAPT station, 49 miles per hour. And then far south, it looks like just to the west of Clear Branch to the east of Bethesda, right around 50 to 40 miles per hour. So this is tracking over into parts of Rankin County. So we are seeing those strong winds and heavy rain and frequent lightning strikes. Let's get another sky cam view over here. Just want to give you a quick look because the worst of the weather is right now, right over parts of Jackson. And you can see the rain, the sky cam is shaking, winds have been up, and those winds are up right now as well. Another look over our reservoir sky cam. Heavy rain is falling, visibility is reduced. I mean, things are ramping up here in the metro. So the worst of the weather is continuing to track here. We're also tracking out those power outages. And you can see we have some power outages over in Natchez, over towards our River County, south of Vicksburg, up towards Lake Providence, some power outages over in Sharkey County. Looks like Claiborne and all the way down towards Jefferson and Adams County. We do have some power outages over there, and that's all due to the strong wind gusts that we've been seeing, and that can definitely knock down those power lines, and that's why we are keeping track of those power outages here this evening. Right now, across the area, we do have a couple of some severe thunderstorm warnings, that special severe thunderstorm warning here in the metro due to the strong winds. And then we also have one active tornado warning at the moment that includes parts of Hinds and Rankin County that David's been showing you. And then we have severe thunderstorm warnings down towards Hazelhurst, north of Brookhaven, and just to the west of Brookhaven. So that's, Natchez. So that's where that line is right now. It's currently just sitting right across parts of the viewing area. It's going to shift over to the southeast within the next hour or so. Let's track it over back to David, and I'll have another update.
All right, we got that intense part of the storm coming across Brandon and Crossgates. We'll get Scott to check with his peeps out there and let us know if they get any wind. There was a ham operator down in Terry as that line went through. He said there was a good bit of wind, but it wasn't as strong as he expected. Tornado warning does continue, and the most intense part of this cell does continue right through the central parts of Rankin County, especially in the areas of Crossgates and Brandon. Let's go to Storm Shield 16 3D. I like to put up this dual, and you can see the winds over here and the rain here, and I really do continue to see what appears to be straight line winds. I'm not really seeing much in the way of any circulation. It is a tornado warning, but it really does look like strong straight line winds that could be anywhere between 50 to 70, maybe 80 miles. Saying this is an intense line of wind and rain, and I'm not seeing any spin up in there right now. If there would be a spin up, it's probably the kind that would rough up a tree, maybe some shingles on a roof, but the strong straight line winds can do just as much damage as well. All right, let's go back over, well, let's take another quick look at our reservoir sky cam because I can see it is pounding rain on the reservoir sky cam right now, but I'm noticing that the sky cam is not jostling around a whole lot right now, so it doesn't look like we have too much in the way of intense rain. All right, let's go back over to the maps now. We're giving you the update here. This is a severe thunderstorm with a lot of wind moving through central sections of Rankin County. In particular, it looks like the worst of the storm is maybe from Castlewoods right down to Crossgates into Brandon with some really intense wind associated with that. Now, as we normally do, we have a long line of weather moving through our area. So let me take you along the line and just fill folks in what's going on. If you're up here in the Kosciuszko area, severe thunderstorm warning, and quite honestly, when we look at the velocity here, it looks similar to what's moving through the Jackson area right now. Very linear, but it looks like there's some strong winds up there. So what you're seeing in the Kosciuszko area and now moving to the eastern parts of Atala County, intense windswept rain, big thunder and lightning, maybe a little bit of small hail. Severe thunderstorm warning continues for there. further to the southwest. I'm going to just stop this and do where it is right now. And here you can see coming into Leake County, severe thunderstorm warning here. And when we put the velocity up, again, we see the same linear feature. Again, here it's strong winds, windswept rains, thunder, and lightning. It's a particularly nasty thunderstorm, very, very nasty. It will blow, where you're at one particular location, you're looking at about 10 minutes of the rough stuff, and then it'll pass, and the worst of the weather will be over. As we head down here into Madison County, the line is coming on to the east side of the county, and we'll put up velocity here again. A linear line out towards Farm Haven and out towards Ratliff before too much longer. In the next couple minutes, the line will be coming through you. Same scenario, intense rain, wind-swept rain, thunder, and lightning. Now, we get down here into the Jackson metro area, we'll throw up the velocity, and we see the same linear structure, and now it's passing the radar, so you'll see some color changes here. So there's certainly a tornado warning, maybe a spin-up tornado, but we're primarily looking at some intense wind and rain moving through the area. We do see a little shear in that area, but that's what we've seen all through the course of the evening, and this is over time showing the shear, and this is the latest picture. Go back to velocity. All right, we've talked about where the most intense part of the storm is. It's pretty much been following Interstate 20, moving from Raymond across South Jackson towards Pearl, Crossgates, Brandon, and now be moving into Pelahatchie, out there where Rankin Road is, out in the rural areas to the east of Brandon, Shiloh Road, some very intense wind heading your way. Let's put up the radar and show that to you. Again, we continue to look at a strong line of storms. Now let's look down here to the south of Brandon High School and Sherwood Forest. So this is the southern part of the tornado warning. Maybe a little bit of a wavy pattern in there, intense wind, possibility of a spin-up tornado. There's been no sightings of tornadoes. We've had no indication of a tornado. It's just that the Weather Service says, hey, there's a severe thunderstorm and has the capability of producing a tornado. And I'm just telling you, when I'm looking at the situation here, I'm seeing intense windswept rain, and sure, the winds could be really strong, but just have not seen the rotation that we typically had. And here on our severe button, we're not picking up any strong winds either. And Katie, I don't believe we've gotten any reports of any kind of weather damage.
Report tree and roadway near Old Jackson, and then other than that, some trees down in Adams County.
So that's down in Adams County. So we're not getting a whole lot of reports with this intense area of rain and wind moving across the area. Further to the south, severe thunderstorm warnings continue. Just moved through Star. It'll be coming out towards Cato and Johns very shortly. The strongest parts of the cell have already passed to the east of Crystal Springs. Let's go a little wider so you can see where I am. Here's Crystal Springs, Hazelhurst, so the rough weather has moved to the east of you. And just keep in mind here, severe thunderstorm warning is in effect all out ahead of this line. And then we go down here into the southwest part of the state, the southern tail end of the line. We do see some showers popping up ahead of the main line, but they're not very intense right now. And then further to the east, on the east side, and just let me get a little bit wider here, we see some cells out here. These do certainly have the potential to intensify over time and become severe, but it looks like they may be out of our viewing area by the time they do. These are now over southern parts of Scott and through Smith County, right through Raleigh, down to the west of Taylorsville, some intense storms there. So you'll have those pass, and then this intense line of storms will move through. Let's do another time lapse before we get another update on some of the winds and the timeline of this storm moving through Rankin County from Katy. This is just over 1 hour's time, so look how it's moved from the Mississippi River all the way over to the eastern parts of Rankin County now. So that's roughly about 50-ish miles that it's covered in an hour, and it's going to pick up speed with time. Officially now, this tornado warning from the Weather Service does continue till 11 o'clock, so it's 10:35 right now. It does continue, and just based on the intensity of the storm, I feel that this tornado warning will continue for the eastern parts now of Rankin County until it moves out of the county. Already out ahead of that storm, in through Leake, Scott counties, a severe thunderstorm warning has been issued that also includes the Neshoba and Newton counties. So expect some, over here in Newton County, you'll see this first wave, and then the line will move through. All right, now to the west of I-55. The threat of severe weather is over here in the Jackson area and areas to the north because the line has passed off to the east. Let's get another quick update from Katie, and I'll do some storm analysis and be right back on.
Yeah, these storms are on the run. It's already in Rankin County, and if you take a look at these communities here, this is going to make it to Billsboro Corner within the next 4 minutes, West Leesburg 5 minutes, Cato, Pelahatchie 6 minutes, Leesburg 7 minutes, Johns Crossroad next 8 to 10 minutes, and then over towards Branch, Clarkburg, Rufus. Expect some heavy rain in your area within the next 12 to 15 minutes over there, as well as some intense lightning and some strong winds. One of those, the main impacts tonight will be those strong winds. Forkville, Puckett, Cooperville within the next 15, 16 minutes. Expect that intense line or the worst of the weather to be moving into your area. So continuing to watch this area over in Rankin County. That's where a lot of the strong winds are at the moment. I'm going to pixel query some of this for you because we are seeing some really strong winds embedded in that storm. I mean, take a look at this, right around 27, 15. So we're still seeing those strong winds over there as well. Switch over to our sky cam. We're still seeing that heavy rain moving in over parts of Rankin County. We're seeing the raindrops here. Sky cam is shaking. We've had strong winds this pretty much this entire day today. We've had gusts over 30, and we're still seeing those strong winds, and that could definitely do some damage by knocking down those power lines. So we're starting to see those power outages over into parts of Natchez. We've got some power outages over into parts of Jefferson, as well as into Claiborne County up towards Lake Providence. We do have some power outages over there. So we are continuing to track this, and it looks like we could be looking at more power outages as this intense line continues to track here across central Mississippi. So we're continuing to watch that. Just give you another look at those alerts right now. We have those severe thunderstorm warnings in place for parts of Simpson, Copiah, northern Lincoln, over in Rankin, and then now pushing over towards our eastern counties, so Kosciuszko and Carthage. That severe thunderstorm warning is now over you guys as well. And then we also have that tornado warning that we continue to watch over in Rankin County right now. But the good news is the worst of the weather is now starting to be over for our northwestern counties. So Issaquena and Sharkey, looks like you guys are out of that severe threat. But just want to give you a quick look at those wind gusts at the moment. Take a look at this. We have wind gusts gusting upwards of 30, 40, over 45 miles per hour down towards Natchez, Brookhaven, as well as into Bassfield. So we are really seeing some strong wind gusts. And after that front, I do expect those strong wind gusts to be on the gusty side for tonight and tomorrow, maybe around 20 miles per hour for your Sunday. Let's toss it over back to David.
Reports from out in the reservoir area estimating winds maybe up to 40 miles per hour. Scott, are you hearing anything from out in Brandon?
Yeah, Brandon, though, is just wind, a lot of wind right now, rain, the siren's going off, no reports of damage. EOC says they have not received anything yet in the Rankin County area. Sheriff Travis Patton in Adams County talking about power outages in the Springfield area and MLK North. The Rankin County Safe Room is open as we speak, but no reports of damage.
I appreciate it. So this really goes along to what we've been seeing here, saying we see a lot of wind and intense rain and thunder and lightning. Really haven't seen a circulation. This is interesting here, though, now. This is out ahead of the main line. Here's the main line making its way across Highway 18 out in the far eastern parts of Rankin County. Here's Pelahatchie out towards Rankin, Goldie Shiloh Road, and then down further to the south to the east of Rock Hill, moving rapidly. But here's a cell that's out alone, which has a little bit of a kink to it, and it's trying to do a little something. So let's go back here and just look at the velocity. while it may be raining in parts of the metro area, in the immediate Jackson area, things are going to be improving quickly now because the intense part of the rain is moving away. Now, here on the southern tail end, we'll look at the radar, we are seeing a little bit of a circulation down here on the far southern end of the box. That's really since it was back in Raymond, and we saw a little bit of a circulation, and then basically we've been watching some straight line winds. We do see a little bit of a circulation that has popped up down here. This is to the east of Highway 18. Here's the Rufus community. This is Highway 43 that runs from Pelahatchie and then south into southeastern Rankin County. So right now, far southern parts of the tornado polygon box that we've been talking about. Now this is to the southeast of Brandon. Out here in this area, a little bit of a rotation has finally showed up. And out here in that storm that is moving into Scott County, which the radar looked a little suspicious, not seeing any strong rotation, but certainly does have a chance for some intensification. So the line continues along, and we really like to see the straightness, because when we see straightness, generally we don't see too much in the way of a tornado threat popping up. Let me get a little bit wider. This activity looks pretty straight and linear out here, now moving to the east of Raleigh and coming up on Taylorsville. Here's Jefferson Davis County. Some activity has moved to the southeast of Prentiss, but you still have the main line. There's a little notch trying to form, so that'll be another area to try to keep an eye on right in here. So that's what we're looking at. A linear line, intense wind moving along with this line of storms. And then it's just going to continue to move very rapidly off to the east. This will probably be out of, let's see, what time is it? 11, maybe by 11:30. This whole line will be out of the viewing area. Let's go up here. Let's not forget our folks in the northern counties now. The rain should begin letting up in Kosciuszko. Carthage, you still have an intense storm coming into your community. And here in the far eastern parts of Rankin County, there is our intense cell. Tornado warning continues for that. We're seeing a lot of straight line wind. And then further to the south now, down into areas south of Hazelhurst and Crystal Springs, the line is not quite as intense, so there is no warning south of Brookhaven along this line. But all along this line, we do continue with the severe thunderstorm warning as this line continues to press quickly off to the east. Let's do another time lapse for you, and we'll do it over 1 hour time, and you can just see how much ground this line has covered just in the last hour. You know, so many times we see these lines take hours and hours to cross the viewing area, but this one is zipping along very quickly, and we see a lot of linear weather associated with it. When we say linear, we're talking about straight line winds being the predominant weather that is impacting most of our viewing area right now. And do notice the severe thunderstorm warnings go way out to the east. They've just been issued for areas to the east of Rankin County, in Scott County, Forest, into Newton County. Severe thunderstorm warnings for that line, which we'll get to you very quickly. This line is going to be out of Rankin County probably in the next 10 minutes, and it'll continue to trek east. As far as Simpson County goes, down towards McGee and Mendenhall, intense rain and some strong winds will be coming into your communities very well. And then, as we've been saying, a little bit further to the south, the line doesn't appear to be quite as intense right now. So the most intense part of the line, and we were talking about how this line was intensifying as it was coming into the Jackson area. We were watching the cell that actually ended up impacting the metro area. It developed back over Claiborne County and came right up at us out of the southwest, where many of our storms do continue to move from. All right, hey, if you're still out here in Rankin County now, we have some intense wind action crossing the county, and it'll be moving out to the east of Pelahatchie very shortly, and way down in the far southeast part of Rankin County, down towards Puckett, you'll see some nasty wind and rain head out to your way as well. Notice out here towards Ratliff, some really intense lightning strikes associated with that cell right now. Let's get a little bit closer here, and I'm going to put up the velocity again, see what's happening with that cell as it moves across the area. There could be some weak pockets of weak rotation along that line. Of course, this is outside of the tornado warning area. All right, hey, it's been raining hard. We've had 5 to 6 inches of rain. Katie, how we doing rainfall-wise here the last couple of hours?
Yeah, this map is within the past 3 hours, and the storm system has been moving fairly quick here, but we've picked up in a few spots over an inch south of Vicksburg, so anywhere around a half to maybe over an inch along river counties. Anywhere you see that yellow color, maybe over an inch up towards our Delta counties as well. So even though this is a fast-moving system, it dumped a lot of rain within the past 3 hours. So take a look at that here in the metro, anywhere, again, from a half to maybe over an inch, close to 2 inches down towards southwestern Hinds County, and this is continuing to track here out of Rankin County. So we'll see that heavy rain start to pile in over Rankin and over towards our eastern counties as well. So a lot of rain, and we're still seeing that rain move in over our eastern counties out of Rankin County. Just want to give you a quick update what's happening far south of the metro. We still have that severe thunderstorm warning in place down towards Crystal Springs, Hazelhurst, heavy rain in your area, and then we could turn on the lightning. Still seeing a lot of frequent lightning down towards Bude as well, heading over south of Brookhaven towards I-55. That rain is going to be moving into your area as well. So we still have a lot of active alerts in place right now. We'll continue to watch these storms that are moving here across the metro as well. Just want to give you a quick update on those power outages. We're starting to get those power outages along our river counties here. So over in Natchez, up towards Jefferson, and over into parts of Lake Providence. South of the metro in Crystal Springs, we're starting to see those power outages as well. So we'll continue to keep track of that. Again, we are dealing with some really strong winds here across the area, and that could definitely knock down those power lines. So we'll continue to see if we can look at more power outages here this evening. But take a look at this. This is that rain moving in here across the area from around 7 into right now. It is just zipping in here along across central Mississippi. So this is moving very quickly here. Like David said, it looks like we could be looking at these storms to be out around 11:30 this evening. So I want to give you a quick timeline. This is our severe clear graphic, pretty much over for our Delta counties. It's now moving out of Rankin County, so ending now, then over towards our southeastern counties, getting that rain right now. That's starting to move in over your area around 11:30. We should start to see the rain and the storms be out of your area. All right, let's check on David on that tornado warning.
All right, good update there. And I did see, Katie, you could check those. There, I think a couple reports in Hinds County of some trees blocking roadways have come in from the emergency management. Let's talk about the line of storms that's coming through the viewing area right now. Let me fire up another time lapse here for you. We'll go it over 1 hour. For the immediate Jackson metro area, things are improving quickly now. We've had an intense bout of wind, rain, thunder, lightning, and it's all moving to the east now. Now, as far as this severe thunderstorm that issued that warranted the tornado warning that went right across the metro area, scheduled to expire here in the next couple minutes, and out ahead of that cell, a severe thunderstorm warning has issued, so we'll have to keep an eye on that particular cell to see it. There is no circulation associated with that right now. It's still basically a line of intense wind and rain. But if you were in, say, Kosciuszko, now down towards Carthage, right here through the Jackson metro area, the weather was rocking and rolling for about 10 to 15 minutes where you live as this line moved through. We were talking about it as we were waiting to come on for the 10 o'clock news that these two lines that were sitting to our west were going to come together and then race across the viewing area, and that is exactly what transpired. It is on the move, and certainly looks like it'll be out of the viewing area perhaps in the next 30 to 40 minutes by 11:30. So very, very good news. Still the possibility that these cells that are trying to fire up ahead of the main line could develop into a tornado, but that would be now out of our area. Notice up here in, looks like, is that a Tibahaw County or close to Tibahaw County? Tornado warning up there in northeast Mississippi. So check on your folks up there in the Starkville area, some nasty weather there. But we're really making some steady progress with this line of storms moving through. And I can tell you, even though I wasn't outside, I don't think the winds were all that intense here at the station. When we have intense wind here at the station, you can hear all the metal above us creak, almost like it's trying to bend, and we didn't hear any of that at the TV station. All right, let's get in here. I'm looking for my magnifying glass. There it is. Let's get right here, and I just give you the overview of what was going on in the entire viewing area. Look how quickly that line has moved through the metro area. Again, we're looking at a 1-hour time lapse, so it was a little before the 10 o'clock news. That line was coming into the Jackson area, and I'll tell you, when you look at it, look how intense it is out there in Hinds County. Now, I will say, remember, you're dealing with technology, and right now it is heavy rain at the radar site. So you have water just pouring around the radar dome. So that takes down the intensity. It makes it look like it's not as intense what it was, but this is still probably a very intense line. I think once the rain stops falling at the radar site, which is about right here, just to the east, well, you find it because you can see, you can follow the Brandon water tower mark right to there, where that's where the radar sits. And once the rain lets up there, I think you'll see some intense thunderstorm action. Now, I'll tell you, if you're up in Carthage, there's a nasty cell coming into southwest Leake County, and that is going to cross the southern half of the county. There is very intense lightning associated with that, and there'll be very big claps of thunder with that. Let's look here, stop it. We'll go up here, check the velocity. Still looks pretty linear or straight here, so not seeing any rotation, but you see this pocket of lightning right in this area. And that's certainly the most intense part of that cell. Not seeing a whole lot of shear. Looking at all the different velocities back. Even here you still see some pretty strong and gusty winds. But certainly good news here for the metro area. The line has just blasted through, and it's gone through a very populated area, and we're not getting a lot of storm reports. So that is very good news. Hadn't really seen a whole lot of power outage reports come through as well. So these are all good signs as this has moved through. Still some rain falling out towards Madison, Ridgeland, Reunion. The rain is letting up quickly now in Clinton and Raymond. The rain will be ending very shortly. Steady rains over downtown, getting ready to let up very quickly. And then this intense line of storms is just about out of Rankin County, and will be moving into Morton and then Forest over the next couple of minutes into Morton, and probably in about 15 minutes or so coming out towards Forest. That's in Scott County. Further to the south, that one cell has already moved through Raleigh, and then this line will come through. So we'll have to continue to watch this line, but again, do note the very straight edge for that. And typically when we see that straight edge, we do not see spin-up tornadoes come out of that. And really the shear vector winds that are associated with this are really parallel to the rain as well. Usually you want to see them at a different angle to help develop some spin, and we're not seeing that as well. So we're seeing a lot of parameters that are favorable for strong and intense winds with these cells, but we're not seeing a little bit of rotation. All right, Katie's got a little power outage check there. We'll check that, and then we'll come back to me.
Yep, and then I've also had some reports of damage adding on to the trees down in Adams. We have tree on roadway near Old Jackson. We have a tree chop blocking roadway over in Midway, and then it looks like a tree on house over in Florence. So we are getting reports of trees down, and this is what we expected with those strong winds, as well as tree blocking roadway over in Hinds County. So a lot of trees reporting being down, and then also we've had some power outages here. Not a lot, but we do have some power outages over in Natchez, So let's toss it over to Scott and he'll have an update on that.
Just the latest number, somewhere around 23,000 statewide. Just got one from the Rankin County EOC at 164 Twin Oaks Drive in Florence. Tree down, significant damage there on that location in Florence. Also on 471 near Coon Hunters Road on 471, Highway Patrol having to respond. A tree down blocking 471. They are on that. The latest count, though, some 3,000 people, I believe, in Hinds County now lost power. In Rankin County, Crossgates neighborhood, my house and other neighbors are in the dark now because of, we assume, power lines down. So many trees that bring things down there. Back to you, Katie.
Yeah, so we're still seeing those power outages add up over here. We'll continue to keep track of that here this evening, but just want to give you an update on those warnings. We still have a couple of warnings here across the area, active alerts over towards Carthage, still over parts of Rankin and down south of the metro right now. We still have the severe thunderstorm warnings, and then we're currently still watching that tornado warning as well. But like I said, the storms are zipping here across, and most of us over towards the river counties out of that severe threat. So we'll continue to watch that. Just want to give you a big picture of what's going on with those wind gusts. We're still seeing those wind gusts upwards of 50 miles per hour over in Hazelhurst, where they are seeing those storms right now, upwards of 40 over in Jackson. Let's toss it over to David, and he'll see what's happening in the metro.
Well, you know, even before the storms got here, we had some wind gusts to, well, I saw some like 39, 40,
yes.
so they did make it to that. Well, the tornado warning is now expired for Rankin County, and we have some severe thunderstorm warnings, so we'll be throwing it back to Scott here. It could wrap up the news hour, I guess. But, you know, we'll fill to the top of the hour, and hopefully...
Power outages now to 30,000, David.
30,000, and where are most of those power outages? Are you able to
They are spread throughout. More than 4,000 in Hinds County right now, we're being told.
Well,
2,000 in Adams.
And I'm going to suspect with the line of winds that we went through, we had trees and branches coming down on some power lines and causing problems. So really, it was an intense line of storms that went through with widespread wind. I know we had that tornado warning that moved through. We really didn't see much of a circulation, but we did see some significant wind as it did move through. And this line will continue to move to the east now. So we have a tornado watch for our eastern counties for a little longer, but keep in mind now, Natchez, Fayette, Port Gibson, Vicksburg, even Jackson, up to Yazoo City, Madison, Canton, all these areas behind this line, the threat of any kind of severe weather is over. And once the rain ends, that's going to be it. Now the story for this coming week is going to be the intense cold. We're going to turn a lot colder tomorrow, and then come midweek, an Arctic cold front will come through, and it's going to turn bitterly cold. We could see some low temperatures between 20 and 25 degrees later this week. Today's high was 81. It's been kind of chilly and nasty all week. Today was a one-day warm-up, and now we're back to the cold weather pattern. This line, as it moves into East Mississippi and Western Alabama, certainly could intensify, but we pretty much got what we thought here tonight. A nasty line, a squall line is what we call it, and it moved through very rapidly with